we'll have some questions, but before, I'll just read 2 or 3 questions that people have been sending in questions, people who are watching us, who are with us, but elsewhere in time, in space, and eventually in time too, except that it's always the present moment. So time ultimately is an illusion, but on a conventional level, we talk about time. So I forgot to say hello to everybody who is not physically present here, but present somewhere else on the planet. This question has been asked in the past a few times and tends to come up very often, so it is a question that quite a few people have. If we live with a person who is unconscious a lot of the time, is it possible to have a harmonious relationship whether the person totally awakens or not? That seems to be a recurring problem for many people. Now, if you have brought your unconscious partner here, that means, and he or she actually came along, that means not all is lost. If he or she is still here. So it depends in what way the unconsciousness of the person that you live with manifests. There are many ways in which it can manifest, from being in negative states, misinterpreting what you say or do, anger, and then it goes up on the scale, verbal abuse, and then it goes higher up on the scale of unconsciousness to physical abuse. So if the unconsciousness is not too high up on that level of intensity, it may be possible to live with a person who may not only share your interest in spiritual evolution, but have no idea what you are practicing or reading or talking about. If you try to point something out, that person may just be uninterested. And then if you go up on the scale of unconsciousness, then another person may be hostile towards what you're doing. And there's a big difference. In both cases there's unconsciousness. Your partner may just have no idea what it is, but say, well, yeah, go listen to that guy Eckhart. I don't know why you go there, but that's okay, I'll be fine. That's fine. So you can live with that person. And then another one gets angry. Says, why do you always have to see, I can't stand it anymore, or whatever, criticize. So you might be able to live with that. What you can live with, only you can know whether you can continue your presence practice and bring surrender into the situation with this person. And miracles are possible. Miracles do happen. And sometimes the seemingly most unconscious person can suddenly shift. Now, if that person is very unconscious, usually what is required is some blow, not you physically doing it. I'm speaking metaphorically. Life administers some blow in the form of big loss, accident, illness, and then deeply unconscious people who are very much trapped in their ego can sometimes suddenly open up. The ego gets cracked. You may sometimes observe that when a person with a big ego is unconscious, it happens not to everybody. It's when they become ill, they're lying in bed and they're ill. Sometimes the ego gets even stronger, it seems, but for some people, the ego, there isn't enough energy left to keep the ego going. In that, because the illness absorbs so much energy, so there's not enough energy for, and suddenly this person who was never a genuine person that you couldn't talk to heart because there was always egoic posturing and egoic role playing there, and suddenly this person is ill, lying in bed, and there just isn't enough energy for posturing and role playing, and then for the first time, I've observed it a few times, people have told me and I've personally observed, for the first time you can communicate with that person at a deeper level of presence. This can also happen when people who had a huge ego all throughout their lives, when they're approaching death. Sometimes miracles of transformation can happen in the last moments, in the last days, or in the last weeks of a person's life. When resentments that had been building up over a lifetime and other narratives of an extremely negative nature are let go of, can happen. It can also happen when a person is ill, that when this person recovers, that shift that you observed doesn't last, and the moment strength returns to that person, the old egoic patterns are back. And it's like, oh my God, you're your old self again. You were so nice when you were ill. Loving and present and open. Well, just wait, things will happen again. So if there's abuse, and these are more pronounced manifestations of unconsciousness, if there's verbal abuse, can you live with such a person? Only you can know whether you're prepared to do that, whether you can sustain your presence practice, perhaps not. Physical abuse, if you stay with physical abuse in the hope that this person will become transformed, that is probably a delusion. But I cannot tell you what to do. But if you are alert and vigilant and observe yourself in the presence of that person, you will know what to do. You just have to see that the right course of action is not being sabotaged by certain patterns that remain in your mind. Mental emotional patterns, such as fear of being alone, fear, loss of security, perhaps the security of being with another person, even if it's fear of the unknown, stepping into the unknown. So you may be held back by certain patterns in your mind, and if you're present enough, you can recognize that and then go beyond it.